Gaming and Metaverse, a new frontier for sports.
Welcome, welcome everybody. So, again, we have a wealth of expertise on the panel here, and a lot of kind of first-hand experience within both the technology that we're talking about, but also sports. So before we dive in, let's just have the panel give a very quick introduction to themselves. Bertrand, do you want to start?
Hello. Hello, I'm Bertrand Levy, and I'm running the global partnerships. I'm vice president at the Sandbox.
Hello. Yeah, my name is Artem. I'm a founder and CEO of Metaverse. We are a company that changes the way how content gets monetized, and as far as the sports, we're helping clubs to actually get the ownership of content and cut the middleman.
And I suspect your glasses have something to do with that. We'll dive into that as part of this panel. Okay, Marco.
Yeah, my name is Marco Kowalewski. I'm the founder and CEO of Stars LLC. We are in fan engagement and Web3 services, providing for sports clubs, federations, and as well for individuals like sports persons, musicians, artists.
Great. And Sam.
Hey, I'm Sam Huber. I run a company called Landvolt. We are a metaverse builder. We build infrastructure for big enterprise to deploy their 3D experiences on the web. We have a team of about 120 people now. We relocated here in the region, have a presence in Saudi as well, and we work with quite a few sports clients as well.
Cool, great. So I just want to start off, it's a little bit cliched, but just start off with this idea of, what is the metaverse, right? We've obviously seen a massive hype cycle over the last few years around the metaverse, but you talk to different people and you almost always get a completely different answer as to what it is, which I think is a sign it's still very early and probably isn't any one thing. But I'm fascinated to know what the panel thinks.
Sure, yes, it's a big topic. We heard a lot about the metaverse, and it's still a little bit blur for people. So I will try at least to explain what is the metaverse from a sandbox point of view. And what we are creating is a virtual world, and this virtual world is combined by more than 166,000 different lands. So what you have a picture in mind, and when you're launching Google Earth, you see the Earth from above. It's kind of the same when you're launching the sandbox.game, and you see the whole map of those 166,000 lands. Inside those 166,000 different lands, we are creating, at the end, 166,000 different experiences that are 3D. And it's so, the goal for us is to have, at the end user coming and find 166,000 different spaces, different experiences, while your first move, talking about the metaverse, is to have a digital representation of yourself through an avatar. Then you can be who you want to be, interact with people, so there's a social aspect also. We come from the gaming industry because we were previously, before the Sandbox was a mobile game that ends up with 70 million users. Then we decided to flip it into a 3D virtual world on PC and Mac for now. So there's always a gamification at some point also.
Yeah, and so you obviously made a very conscious decision to move from the web to Web3 and embrace the kind of decentralization and open aspect that enables.
Yes, 100%. And we like to call ourselves the open metaverse because we want to be as interoperable as possible. So it's also Web3 spirit, is be interoperable, no boundaries between different virtual worlds. Also, the first goal of the Sandbox is to ask the end user to become a part of the creation, become a creator, play to earn. So tomorrow you can come, you can buy a land in the Sandbox, create whatever you want. And we have two very intuitive and no-code tools that can help you do that, like in a matter of 5 days, maybe a week, you can create whatever comes out of your mind. put it into our marketplace or have it into your own world that you just have been created,
Yep.
and earn money out of it.
So there's two interesting topics there which we'll touch on again. I think one is the fact that you're coming from a gaming perspective, and gaming is integral to Sandbox, and I think that's a recurrent theme with the metaverse and gamification, but also the monetization piece. But love to hear anyone else's views on.
Yeah, I think you said it right. We are just in the beginning of understanding what is the metaverse, and I think it's going to evolve a lot, but it's going to change a lot of industries for sure. I think one of them is travel and the way how we work, because as the technology gets closer to the point where our brain stops noticing the difference, and I think we're 3 to 5 years away from it. People will travel.
How many years, sorry?
3 to 5.
3 to 5, okay.
Yeah, so people will travel in Metaverse and do a lot of stuff there. So I think we are in the early stages, and it's going to evolve drastically. And right now, it's like 1997 of internet. I think the Metaverse is pretty much is. That's where we are.
Okay, interesting. Marco, what's your perspective? I know your model's slightly different.
I will say I can combine these both things together for us. When it comes, for example, with the view on sports, it's exactly that we have on one hand this aspect that people from, let's say, every corner around the world would be able, for example, with virtual reality glasses, to attend in a stadium with a virtual view as if they will be there. For example, it's currently not possible for people over in Africa to enter a stadium, let's say from FC Barcelona, but they have access with their mobile phone to everything. And this might be an aspect to change the whole game, because this can bring everyone from around every corner around the world to this stadium, which is also a socializing aspect, which can bring in the earning side, the social aspect. You can combine it with everything. You can sell merchandise in a digital way, in a physical way. So like digital collectibles can be exchanged if you sometimes will attend in a real stadium. I think the ideas are limitless. So it's just a question of time when it will be adopted.
Yep. Okay. No. Interesting. And Sam, what's your perspective, and how do you approach it?
Our definition is somewhat simpler. We believe that the metaverse is just the evolution of the internet into a 3D internet. So we like to call it the 3D internet. We're seeing trends and technologies like real-time 3D engines like Unity and Unreal that started by powering video games that are now being used outside of video games for movie production, for example, or manufacturing simulations. And so little by little, those technologies are becoming the fabric of the internet. It doesn't mean that the whole internet will be 3D, but a lot of the things that we do online today that are fairly experiential can be done better in 3 dimensions. And that's, for us, this is what the metaverse is. So what we do is building tools to enable creators to deploy those worlds on the web, because we quite like the fact that the web is already interoperable. So if you're building things that are deployed on the web, you don't really need to worry about interoperability anymore, because it's already there. The HTTP protocol is pretty good at interoperability. So that's our definition. This is how we're approaching it.
Okay, so it's web-based, which makes it more accessible, presumably.
I mean, I think that, just like you can see on the internet today, there is 2 ecosystems. You have the ecosystem on the web, and then you have applications. And the applications have their strength as well. If you want to do, complex 3D rendering right now, it's better to have an app. But then you have distribution challenges because you have to go through the app stores. So I think what we're seeing now, the technology in the browser is improving quickly. Not to get too technical, but you have a pretty big revolution happening with WebGPU, which is the evolution of WebGL, which will enable to render Unity and Unreal content natively in the browser. And I think when that happens, the benefit of having access to a virtual world from a URL that can be shared anywhere, you can just click, and instead of having a 2D website, you have a 3D experience that you can navigate, and it works on every device, is going to be very attractive for creators, because it's simpler and cheaper. You can build once, and it works everywhere. And also for users to be able to access that on every single device.
Okay, interesting. And so maybe just to explore this difference between a kind of 3D web offering versus a decentralized metaverse. can you give us an example, just a quick example of something you've done in sports?
I mean, you can still be decentralized, right? The blockchain is really the underlying, system that basically creates this financial engine and the economy inside the content. So whether it's on an app, whether it's on desktop, the blockchain can still be plugged there. So one of the project, sports related, was with Formula One, Abu Dhabi. So the first vision was, let's create a digital twin of the Yas Marina track and use it for video games. So once you have a copy of the track, because we know the position of the drivers, you can literally race against the drivers on the track, which is really cool. And then the next phase, now that they have the digital twin, which is accessible through a browser, is that they also want to use it as an internal tool for logistics and crowd management. So it really shows the power of digitalizing infrastructure, because you can use it internally, externally, for marketing, for internal use, and it has all these different kind of use cases. And then blockchain is playing a role there to power the economics of this game as well.
But it's powering the economy in terms of introducing NFTs or assets, rather than being built on necessarily a decentralized.
I mean, yeah, the hosting itself is not decentralized.
Yeah.
But it's it's just an additional layer of monetization for creators. So
Sure.
different NFTs, different content can be minted as NFTs. So you create a secondary market on top of the content. You have
Yep.
a token that basically can be used as a currency in the experience. So this is just creating an additional environment and more opportunities for creators and fans to engage.
Got it. Yeah, no, okay, that makes sense. And this idea of a digital twin is not new, and I get there's a lot of kind of rationale behind it, because sports teams have fans all over the world, and very few of them will ever step into the stadium. How does that play out, Bertrand, in the sandbox and some of the sports experiences that you've built with clients?
To be 100% transparent, we were so focusing on entertainment, we haven't done that much into sports for now,
Okay.
But I'm pushing hard on that, because I know that we focused on music. We have a bunch of artists and major artists, movies, also cinema. So we signed with several studios in Hollywood. So we're going to have like a bunch of IPs coming. I cannot tell right now, but they are coming. But that said, yes, I know, and I'm coming from the music, because my background, I spent like almost 20 years at Universal Music before I joined the Sandbox. So I know that the fans are more engaged into when it comes to sports than even music.
Yep.
So every time you're a fan of a soccer team or US football or NBA or etc., all fans are. You just have to do one item and it goes like crazy. So we're pushing hard right now into sports. The only real thing that we've done for now is with the MMA through MetaFight. Yes. They're doing great jobs. They signed with all the MMA leagues in the world, all the players, and they have a land in Sandbox, and we're gonna have like bridges between what they're doing and what's into their own land in the Sandbox. But of course, talking to all different sports.
So moving forward, it's a space to watch.
Yes, 100%.